Hey everyone, what's up? Today we're gonna talk about the final version of the wheel volley build. I did not make a video sooner and I was waiting a little bit. Many of you may have noticed that I already updated everything on Mobalytics a few days ago, but I was waiting for the meta to settle down a bit, and I think we are in a pretty good spot right now. I don't think there's gonna be major change anymore. So I'm gonna do a full breakdown of this new build that allow people to clear the pits 150 in 2.5 minutes. That's just crazy. First, we're gonna watch a little showcase of my friend's resistant that is using my build. He is clearing T150 in 2 minutes and 39 seconds. That's totally crazy. We're gonna watch his showcase. I'm gonna cover it. I'm gonna explain to you what's happening. That might help you if you're trying to clear 150 or pushing faster or just clearing 150. Keep in mind that he has like crazy gear, and you might not be able to do the same, but it's just the principle. If you understand the mechanics, you will be able to just, if your goal is to do 150, you will be able to do it. And if you want to push faster, you might learn some trick too. So yeah, 150. First, he has a very good map and good monster type. As you can see here on the screen, this is the Mystic Circle. You always want to be inside the Mystic Circle, because when you are inside the Mystic Circle, you're gonna do crazy damage. That's why he is staying in the circle, as you can see. The monsters are just exploding, like it's crazy, the power of this build. And as you can see, he has the Mystic Circle on cooldown, and what he is doing is pulling more monster, waiting for the cooldown of his Mystic Circle to going back. He should have the Mystic Circle instantly coming back. And as you can see here, I don't know if you can notice, but many people were complaining to me that they cannot kill the damage reduction guy, and the little trick is just to hover your mouse on it. If you don't have the damage number on, it's a lot easier for you to hover your mouse. And as you can see, he has his mouse here on the damage reduction guy. That's your #1 priority when you do pulls like this with Vortex. You want to kill the damage reduction guy first. They just died and the rest will just melt. Yeah, instant melt when they die. Mystic Circle is on cooldown. He's like pulling more monsters. He has Mystic Circle again. If you notice, we only kill elites when we have the Mystic Circle, because the damage is just crazy. Doing the pulls, killing the damage reduction first. Always inside the Mystic Circle to do the biggest damage possible. And yeah, after the showcase, I'm going to show you what exactly you need to make this build works. The gear, the Paragon, the skill tree, everything. But yeah, we can see Mystic Circle pulling everything inside, trying to kill the GR guy. Unfortunately, he got feared. But yeah, this build struggled a bit on single target. As you can see, he left one elite, because I'm gonna explain to you why, but this build really struggled on single target. That's why you're gonna need boss with ads. You can kill a boss without ad, but that's obviously very hard. That's gonna take a while, especially if you don't have very good gear. But yeah, keep in mind that you probably won't be able to do the same because you won't have the same gear. But if you just want to do 150, all those advices gonna apply to like killing the GR guy, staying inside the circle. That's very important to understand how the mechanics works. And yeah, again, as you can see, the damage is very good, but when the Mystic Circle appears, everything just disappears. It's very important to try to time your Mystic Circle when you're reaching elites and starting to kill them. As you can see, every time he engaged the elites, the Mystic Circle is coming back pretty fast. And yeah, the boss. He was pretty unlucky on this boss. He could have done the clear in like 7 seconds. When you meet the boss, if it's for example Slither or Malice, you can kill the boss in like 10 seconds, 7 seconds. That would have been a clear like 2 minutes 30, even 27. That would be crazy, but there is also part of RNG when you are pushing, like trying to speed farm. There are a lot of RNG, unfortunately. Like as we can see, for example, he cannot really kill Scourge of the Land fast because he did adds. And when the adds come, Scourge of the Land just gonna be one shot. As we can see here, there are 2 adds. He pulled the adds in, and the Scourge of the Land just got one shot instantly. That's why you need adds. Before the adds, as we can see, he is dealing pretty decent damage. The boss T150, but with the adds, it's just crazy. This build is crazy with adds. That's why I recommend this build for pit pushing and not outside the pits. We're gonna check that on Mobility. You have all the information on Mobility. First of all, I got many questions about because I have 3 builds. I'm gonna explain quickly which one to use and when. Obviously, you wanna use the starter if you don't have a very good gear because you can still use Yen's Blessing and Midnight Sun. Like this one is very basic. You don't need a lot of gear. You still need Shroud of False Death because it's still very endgame build, but it's a budget build. If you don't have very good gear, you can have Yen's Blessing, that's gonna cap your resistance to all elements. You're also gonna have resource generation. This build is gonna be easier if you don't have very good gear. When you wanna switch slowly to regular stuff, when you have a little bit more gear, you're still gonna keep the Ring of Midnight Sun, but the difference is you're gonna ditch Moonrise and you're gonna start to play with aspect of Plant Power. The Paragon's also gonna change. And this one, you can use this build for pretty much every content, I would say. You can also do some changes if you want to go faster. For example, you can remove 1 point here, and you can use Saw if you want more mobility. It's very flexible. This build is just very good overall. You can also push 150 with this build, but it's gonna be harder than if you use this one, the final one. This one is the best build if you wanna push. It is the easiest one. You don't even need that much gear to play this build. The most important things here, because many people are telling me I'm switching to this build, it's not working. I don't understand why. The most important one, the true most important thing is you need to have a lucky hit chance to restore your resource. There, we're gonna see that on your glove. This is very important. As you can see here, lucky hit up to 15% chance to restore 65 primary resources. You cannot play this build without this effect. It's very important to understand that. Why you can't play this build without this? Because on the regular build, as you can see, we have Ring of Midnight Sun, and on this one we don't play Ring of Midnight Sun anymore. We are playing the second most important thing of the build, the aspect fell Soothsayer aspects. This of the combination of these two that's gonna make it work. Why it's so important to have lucky hit resource on glove? It's mandatory because, as you already probably know, as I explained in my previous video, this build is the combination of Kepeleke and Banish Lord, and you need minimum 240 vigor to make it work, and you need every time to get full vigor back, right? If you have full vigor back, you're gonna overpower. But the problem with this build is you don't have Midnight Sun anymore, and you can't have always your vigor back, and you're not gonna overpower as much as you are supposed to be. As we can see here, it's not always the case. Sometimes my vigor is not maximum back, so that's why we are not going to deal damage anymore on single target. But the thing is, as you can see in the showcase, we have lucky hit chance to restore primary resource, and when there are like several monsters, multiple dummy, I mean that's not gonna work because they are not pixel pool on me. But when you have several monsters pixel pool on you, it's gonna act like a mid dancer. Basically, you're gonna get all your resource back every time you cast, because Will Volley is pretty good on the lucky hit chance, and that's gonna restore your primary resource, and that's gonna kind of replace Midnight Sun, and that's gonna allow you to deal damage. So keep in mind that you always have to pull enemies together to be able to get your resource back and to deal damage. Otherwise, you can't overpower and you can't deal damage. That's why he was skipping elites when there was only one elite left. He was just skipping because that would take him too much time because of that mechanics. I will go through my gear, but keep in mind that if your goal is just to do 150, it's not very important to not have all the GA, all the max aspect, all the good masterworking, you know. I will just try to tell you on every piece of gear what to prioritize and what you should get, but this is probably very optimized and advanced, but we're gonna go through that. On the helm, you wanna get dexterity, max life, maximum resource, you wanna temper barrier generation, and you wanna temper maximum resolve stack. This doesn't change, it's the most important thing of the build. On the aspect, you're gonna use apprehension to have 40% more damage against feared enemy and against staggered boss. On the runes, it's the same. You gonna use the Druid's Earthen Bulwark to have a barrier. And the priority on the helm is to get the life first, then the resource, then the dexterity on the GA if you can. If you can't, just get maximum life. That's gonna be more than enough to do 150. On the tempering, you wanna temper everything on maximum resolve stack, but many of my friends can do 150 with only one masterwork on maximum resolve stack, so you can just probably do it. You don't need to make it orange if you wanna like just do 150. And there are many debates around what is the best between resolve and resilience, and personally I go for true resolve stack, but if you already have one resolve stack and one resilience, you should keep that. On paper it should be slightly better than true resolve stack, but I know many people are playing crushing hand build, and on crushing hand maximum resolve stack is better. And I think the difference between true resolve and one resolve stack is not that big to justify to change everything. So if you have true resolve, you just keep true resolve stack. Getting one resilience, I don't think that's gonna make the whole difference if you wanna push as fast as possible. That's mostly gonna come to the RNG, to the map layout, to the boss that you're gonna get. It's not like the difference between resilience and the maximum revolve stack is not gonna play that much. On the chest, you want to get Shroud of False Dead. That's the best in-slot chest for this build, because it gives you +1 to all your passive in the skill tree. It's massive damage. It also gives you max life. You want to masterwork everything on max life. You want to have the GA on the max life. If you can't have the GA on the max life, it's not a big deal. You just try to masterwork as much as possible maximum life, and that's it for Shroud. Very easy. Most important for this build, the glove. You want to get lucky hit chance to restore primary resource. You don't need to have GA on that, right? Normal roll is fine. The GA you want to get is first maximum life, then you can get dexterity, you can get resource cost reduction or quill volley. What's the best in what order? I would say the best gonna be quill volley, then it's gonna be resource cost reduction, then dexterity. You don't need to get it in GA obviously if you just wanna do 150. But the difference between like quill volley and the resource cost reduction gonna be very minimal, so don't overthink too much and just take whatever you can find. On the tempering, you're gonna get Mystic Circle Potency. That was the circle that you see in the showcase. That's gonna buff the damage like crazy. Vortex size, very important when you wanna pull monster. If you have more size, you're gonna pull monster farther. As you can see, sometimes there are some damage reduction guy a little bit far away, and having more size is gonna help you to pull them in and to gain a lot of time. On the pants, it's like on the helm, you wanna go dex, maximum life, basic skill, temper, barrier generation, maximum resolve stack, and yeah, that's like the same as the helm. You wanna get the aspect of interdiction, very important aspect. That's gonna combine with this one, with directed force, masterwork everything on the resolve stack. Priority on the pants for the GA, I would say maximum life, then probably basic skill, Actually, basic skill or dexterity doesn't matter. Just try to get maximum life, and the two other, if you can't, it's not a big deal. You still gonna be 150 very easily. On both, you're gonna have barrier generation. A little reminder that the breakpoint is 122.23. So just let's say 122.23, a very important one. And yeah, if you have too much barrier generation, you can just put an emerald, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Because with shroud you don't even have, you won't have enough. But yeah, so on the boots it's dexterity, maximum life, it's armor now. I have another pair of boots. If you wanna push, I think, yeah, it's here. Because as you can see in the video, between each elite stack, you are just running, then you are pulling enemies with your vortex. Because you are waiting for the Mystic Circle. The Mystic Circle is very important in this build. You always want to be in a Mystic Circle when you are fighting elites. That's why you're pulling elites, you're killing them, then you run waiting for your Mystic Circle and pulling them again in your new Mystic Circle. That's why having movement speed is very important. So on this build, I would say go max life, movement speed, dexterity, priority to maximum life obviously, then movement speed, then dexterity. The implicit attacks reduce evades cooldown by 1.5 seconds. I don't think it matters a lot. You're not evading that much when you're running, you're just running. So yeah, the tempering is the same, barrier generation and move speed. You wanna masterwork everything in life obviously. The aspect that you're using gonna be duelist one. You wanna get 5. If you don't get 5, let's say you get 3, 4, there is on mobilitics, the detail, I'm gonna put the detail breakpoint. I have the breakpoint here like 96, but I'm gonna put the exact breakpoint that was 163.4, something like that. I'm gonna add that to the mobility guide, but keep in mind that if you can't reach the breakpoint, it's not a big deal. You're gonna lose a little bit of damage, but you're still gonna do 150, so you don't need to overthink about that. It's not a big deal. On the Kepeleke, that's the main weapon of the build. You wanna masterwork everything on the chance core skill to hit twice because they fixed that and now it's super strong. So, and yeah, just masterwork everything. I got very lucky. I masterwork everything like in 2 tries. That's the first time that happened to me. I'm very happy about that. And on the runes, you're gonna use Tam and Zal. That's gonna give you maximum life, so more damage. Many people ask me why Tam and not another rune. The answer is it doesn't matter. You just have perma maximum life anyway, so it's not very important. Just use whatever rune you prefer. You don't have to use Tam if you don't like it. Banish Lord on Kepeleke, the priority on the GA is gonna be, for me, it's gonna be maximum resource, then chance for core skill to hit twice. But the most important one is the legendary effects. You wanna have at least 2.6, 2.8, 3 if possible. 3 and 2 GA is gonna be better than 2.6 and 4 GA, for example. So focus on the legendary affix, then maximum resource, and then chance for core skill to hit twice. On the masterworking, you wanna focus on my orange one. If you can hit it 2 times and then it goes to maximum resource, it's also okay. You don't need to overthink too much about those things unless you wanna optimize yourself to maximum and push. But if so, I doubt that these people are watching this video. On Banish Lord, you wanna have on priority maximum life and then attack speed. Attack speed is also very important to help you to reach the attack speed breakpoints. And Masterwork is everything on max life. Overpower damage doesn't really matter. Core skill a little bit, but not that much. So priority is life, then attack speed. And the legendary affix is also very important, 60%. Try to get at least 56% to not lose too much damage. On the ring, this is the one of the big change also. You don't use Midnight Sun anymore. As I said earlier, you're gonna use a regular ring, legendary ring, with that new aspect. The Soothsayer aspect is totally bugged. It works like a sock shatter. When you kill an enemy, 50% of the killing blow gonna damage other enemy. Let's say you have 5 enemy, you kill one, that's gonna deal 55% damage to other, but the 55 damage gonna be absorbed by one, and that's gonna just create a chain reaction that just kill everything, and the aspect is totally bugged, is dealing way more damage than intended. That's why you're seeing the boss getting one shot, all those elites back getting one shots. And yeah, that aspect is totally broken for the moment. I don't know what they're gonna do with this, but we are playing the build around that and the Mystic Circle, obviously. So on the ring, you wanna get max life, attack speed, resource cost reduction, temper resource cost reduction, and Mystic Circle potency for more damage. The priority gonna be maximum life and attack speed. It's really important to get attack speed, GA on these 3 items, because when you get attack speed on these 3 items, that's gonna allow you, if you masterwork one time the ring and one time the other ring, that's just gonna be enough to reach the breakpoint of the attack speed. Of course, you need the maximum duelist aspect, but I'm gonna add all of this on the mobility's guide with the exact breakpoint, so you can just calculate yourself. For example, if you wanna masterwork attack speed twice here and not on this one, it will be up to you. Also, resource cost reduction. Why resource cost reduction? We've noticed that resource cost reduction has an interaction with Rod of Kepeleke, and it buffs your damage like crazy. I don't know if you remember, when you're taking a channeling shrine, your damage is just going like crazy. That's the same principle with resource cost reduction, and that's why we are using it. It's slightly better than dexterity. And yeah, if you have dexterity, obviously, like I have dexterity here, it's not a big deal, but I would probably keep dexterity, by the way, because of some Paragon nodes. I will show you later when we reach the Paragon. And yeah, the second ring is basically the same. Maximum life, attack speed, then you get dexterity or resource cost reduction or whatever you can get. On the Masterwork, you wanna get 1 attack speed and 2 life. But yeah, on the aspect is the Mystic Circle aspect. As you seen in the showcase, that's also core of the build, and that's help a lot with everything dealing more damage, and you just play around the circle basically. Let's see the skill tree and the Jaguar Hall. The Jaguar Hall, double Jaguar now, as you know, this is big DPS, and the build also revolve around that, and now we use Jaguar instead of Gorilla. Why? Because you're gonna gain 1 stack of ferocity. 1 stack of ferocity gonna give you more attack speed, and also gonna synergize with this aspect. It's gonna give you even more damage. So that was it for the Spirit Hall. We're gonna look at the skill tree. The skill tree, now we use Shroud of Forces, that's gonna gain +1 to all places. The skill tree is almost the same. But for example here, instead of Vigorous, you're gonna remove the points. You're gonna put that in Armored Hide because we are losing ranks to defensive skill here. We are also gonna remove the offensive. On my Midnight Ring, you have gain counter attack passive effect, but you don't have it. Yeah, who is using reinforced counter attack to get more damage, but without Midnight Sun anymore, we're gonna remove these 3 points, we're gonna remove points here, we're gonna put the point in Armor Hide. As I said before, you don't use Gorilla anymore, so you are not unstoppable anymore. So the only way to be unstoppable is gonna be Armor Hide, and putting more points in Armor Hide gonna reduce the cooldown. I mean, yeah. That's gonna increase, not reduce the duration, and if you have more duration, you can have perma uptime of it, and you're gonna be perma unstoppable. That's very unfortunate if you get freeze, feared, or like crowd control during your run. That can be problematic. That's why we get more points in Armor Hide. As you can see, I have 100% time. But if you remove the points, it's gonna be harder if you have to move, if you have to cast spell in between, and if you have to dash, you know, like here, I don't have it anymore. And if you get crowd control between this little hole, that's a big problem. You also have some point left that you're gonna put in the Hunter. The Hunter is just more damage for you. A full volley rank one here. things like resilience, all the skill trees just synergize very well. Also, there was a version when you were playing with Force Push to help you get your vigor back, but that's not needed anymore in this version because of Base Glove, and you're always facing a group of monsters, so you don't really need that anymore. But keep in mind that on single target, this build doesn't really work. You can kill one boss on single target without ads, but that's gonna take a bit of time, especially if you don't have perfect gear. If you have perfect gear, it should be okay, but I don't think many people has perfect gear. And yeah, this one very important. That's gonna reduce your cooldown, and also gonna increase all your purchase skill ranks by 2. And yeah, that's it for the skill tree and the spirit hole. Let's check the Paragon board now. The Paragon board remain roughly the same as the previous one, I think. As the regular version, we use just a spirit here. But the most important nodes that make the build work, Vicious Shield, that is bugged, but it is what it is. We're gonna also use, oh, it's not canny, yeah. It's Ritual. Where is Ritual? Let me check that. I forgot to change, was testing some stuff. Yeah, Ritual is gonna buff your Mystic Circle potency, gonna give you more damage and gonna synergize with the build. Very important one, that's why we play around the circle. On this one, you gonna use Colossal. You use Colossal because it gives you 2% multiplicative damage for each stack of resolve you got. That's why also it's very important to try to masterwork your resolve stack, because that's more damage. We don't take this rune for the gorilla damage, obviously. This one is revealing the legendary node for more damage. Then we're gonna use Hubris. Why Hubris? Because it has higher value than Menagerist. 272.5 against 327. That's gonna give you maximum resource. That's gonna give you that's gonna buff all this node, and that's gonna be very helpful on the build. And the last one's gonna be Fulminate. You wanna get at least 160 or 150 to be able to cap Convergence for more damage. And try to always keep an eye on this rare node to see if you can reach if you can cap it. For example, it's very important to have dexterity here. I think that's why on my planner on Mobilistic I have dexterity here. You want to try to get also GA on dexterity, but you can make the calculation. You can also masterwork dexterity sometimes to be able to cap and reach the rare node. So yeah, be very careful about that. It should not be a problem anymore because you have a Shroud of False Death. That's gonna give you a lot of all stats. But yeah, it's also very important, always make a little check if you have all the requirements of the rare node to see if you can make the build work correctly, because yeah, the attack speed breakpoints also take in consideration that you are meeting the requirements on the rare node. And you can make adjustment by yourself. For example, if you miss some dexterity, you can just use incenses and stuff to cap that. That's it for the Paragon, I think. On the incenses, I personally use Chorus of War, Redeeming Burst for more life, and Queen Supreme for more dexterity. On the potion, I always use the Fortitude ones to get max life. Max life is the number stat you want, is the best stat you can get for this build. So yeah, that was a lot of information. I try to make it as clear as possible, not always entering the detail to not confuse people. I hope that was clear enough for everyone. If you have questions, feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section. I will try to answer your question. Don't forget also to check the guide on Mobilistic. There are a lot of information. I'm gonna add the exact breakpoint for the attack speed. You can also see the perfect tempering and masterworking that you wanna get, and what I think is the best. You have additional information and you have some explanation about the build. You also have some summarize here about what what you need to get, when to play this. Like, you have requirement here, you have the detail here. I remind you that it's very important to get like hit resource on glove, stuff like that. And yeah, I think that's it for me today. Don't forget to share the video, leave me a like and a comment, and I will see you next time for more video and build.